Okay, good evening, everyone. We will go ahead and get started. We've got a great group shaping up here. I see lots of new names, so welcome to our meeting. If this is our first that you're attending, thank you and welcome. Hope you enjoy. We will go ahead and start off with just the quick kind of intro into how we do our Zoom meetings. So we do ask that everyone keep yourselves muted just unless you're presenting or unless you're asking a question. That just makes sure that everyone who is speaking can be heard easily. So if you happen to forget you're unmuted, I may mute you. No offense meant, just want to make sure the room is open for everyone to speak. If you do have a question or a comment you'd like to share, please just use the raise hand feature in Zoom and I'll notice that and I'll call on you, make sure that we can get you front and center. So without further ado, I did upload a copy of the agenda, which does include our treasurer's reports through chat. So if you'd like to follow along there, you can feel free to pull that up on your system. Otherwise, I'm going to bring the treasurer's report up on the screen and turn the floor over to our treasurer, Eric.
Thanks, Jess. So we'll start off with the balance sheet. Excellent. Pull up on my end. Here we go. So for checking, we have $2,700 in savings. We have just over 17,000, and petty cash remains unchanged at 859. I will call out on the equity lines that we do have a decrease in the scholarship fund. We did pay out the primary scholarship recipient for $2,000. So both the checking account and then the scholarship fund have decreased by that amount. That's pretty much the sizable things I want to call out on this report. Any questions on the balance sheet? Okay, excellent. Jess, if we can move over to the income statement. All right, excellent. So we do have a couple more residential memberships that ticked up. We do anticipate that that will continue to increase as a lot of the reminders have started to go out for next year's 2022 memberships. So we do expect to see that to continue to increase over the next couple months. For donations, we did not receive any this month. I will call out that we did have some yard sale activity. Hope everybody enjoyed that this last weekend. So we had $36 come in for yard sale registrations. And then we also had $207 come in on the merchandise from the Summer Fun Days merchandise. So everyone probably has seen some of the posts for the t-shirts. That's what that is from. And then the other income is for interest on the savings account. Moving into the expenses, we had a normal expenses for rent and utilities. Really no change there. Then the other thing I would call out again is under the other expense is the $2,000 for the scholarship recipient check that we did disperse. Any questions on the income statement? Excellent. Thank you. Jess, back to you.
Thank you much. Okay, we're going to move on to the two zoning items we have on the agenda. Briefly, I'll turn the floor over here to our zoning chair, Lauren. I will note that there are two different types of presentations. So the first presentation is for a pending variance that was requested, an application that was filed. We will review that process and we will vote at the end. Current members who have paid dues at least 21 days earlier than today will be voting in that. And then we'll also have an informal review. That will not involve voting, but the process will otherwise be very similar. So for both reviews, we will have a 5-minute period of presentation from the applicant. We'll then have a second 5-minute period where we ask for questions on anything related to the variance for the first item, or of course what's being proposed for the second. And then for the final 5 minutes of those presentations, we will just ask the applicant to respond to those questions. And then of course on the informal review, if there's any feedback, to respond to that as well. So first and foremost, we'll do the Graphics Commission application. Lauren, the floor is yours.
Great, thanks, Jess. So the first item we'll be reviewing this evening is at 27 West Jenkins. You guys should be familiar with this property because it's come through a couple of times now. The first time was for approval for development. So it's a apartment complex over west of High Street on Jenkins. And we Had them come through for a meeting, a few months back, for a similar graphics variance request for a large sign to be placed out at the front of the parking lot on the alley. And I believe the request for this evening is another graphics variance for 3 additional signs at the entrances to the building. So we've got John White with us from WODA this evening, and I think he'll walk through a little bit more detail for you guys.
Yes, good evening. Glad to be back with everybody today. Lauren's correct. This is our second graphics commission variance request that we're pursuing here. I put some slides together. I thought that would be the best way to kind of go through it. So if you guys will allow me to share my screen here. Can everybody?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. Okay. Just real quickly, again, my name is John White. I'm a development officer with WODA Cooper Companies. We are developing the Jenkins Lofts just west of High Street, along at the Wall Street and Jenkins intersection. Reason we're here today, we are seeking another graphics commission variance request for 3 illuminated LED wall signs to be placed and mounted on our development. And just as a reminder, this is a 60-unit multifamily housing development. We are, as an update, we're expecting to be completed, I think, at the end of the year here, December. So that's very exciting. Wasn't anticipating on getting another variance for this, but here we are. So, you know, each sign is going to be about a little more than 1.5 feet in height and a little less than 13.5 feet in width. And I'll certainly have some images to show you guys of what we're planning to install. Reason we need this variance request is according to section 3376.04 of the Columbus Zoning Code. It restricts a residential complex from displaying more than 1 permanent sign that displays towards any street abutting the complex. And as Lauren alluded to earlier, we were before you guys back in a few months ago, I think in April, for a recommendation for approval for a graphics commission variance to install a monument sign, which will be located at our parking lot entrance. You know, we thought we were through with the sign variances there, but you know, after that being our 1 sign, you're not allowed to have more than 1 in a residential complex. So, you know, we feel the hardship here is that, you know, given the location of the building, it's certainly a block off of High. It's tucked along very low traffic streets, so we want to, you know, make sure we're improving the visibility of our development. Just to reacquaint everybody with the development, it's an L-shaped structure. Just to orient everybody, Jenkins Street traverses east and west, just to the north of the building, and it dumps into High Street to the east, and it ultimately dead ends. And then it's also at Wall Street here, which runs north and south. Again, it's an L-shaped building, and the location of the mounted signs that we're seeking are going to be 1 here at the entrance to the main entrance to the building, coming in at the parking lot here, so it's certainly set back quite a bit from the site. And then the other 2 will be located at the top of the L here at the Jenkins Avenue and Wall Street intersection. So this is what the signs that we'd like to have installed. Again, about 13.5 feet in width and about a little more than a foot and a half in height. And they'll be mounted and illuminated with LED letters and reading as the lofts. Not the best imagery here, but this is what we have. So, you know, the top image here is the sign where it'll be placed at our main entrance into the building. Just hopefully you guys can see that, just to give you an idea of what the scale is, and you know where it'll be placed. So again, this is kind of at the entrance to it'll be the main entrance for our residents into the building, kind of tucked in the back of the parking lot. And you know, as you can see, we're under construction here, so this is the best image I could provide. But this will be the entryway into the building, and we hope to have a sign installed right here, reading as the lofts. The next two locations, as I mentioned, they were at the top of the L there at the Wall Street and Jenkins intersection. One will be facing towards Jenkins to the north, and the other will be facing towards High Street to the east, and they'll be, you know, kind of right next to each other, mounted at that Wall Street and Jenkins intersection. And again, this is, you know, I'm on Jenkins Street here. You can see Wall Street to the left here. So we'd like to have a sign installed right here as well as right here. And I think that's all the slides I have. I'm happy to answer any questions. Again, we think the necessity of this, given the location of the building, we want to just make sure we're maximizing our visibility, given how we're a block or so off a high street and a very low traffic street. I will say, you know, the illuminated signs, they're not going to be facing towards any residences. You know, the one at our main entrance, obviously tucked very deep into the parking lot. And then the other two at the Wall Street and Jenkins intersection, you know, one will be facing towards the back of a bar there. I think there's an Irish pub there. And then the other one towards, I guess, kind of a light industrial or kind of a storage facility there. So happy to answer any questions. Again, we certainly appreciate the Marion Village Association's recommendation for approvals, and we can provide affordable housing for the Marion Village neighborhood.
Great, thank you, John. If you don't mind, could you stop sharing your screen, and I'm going to pull up a separate document just to track any questions if folks have them.
Sure.
So we'll open it up if anyone has questions.
Don't see any hands raised. Is there anyone that has a question that maybe is unfamiliar with the hand raising and would like to speak?
I'm sorry, can you guys direct me to where the stop share is?
There you should just be able to, yeah.
Oh, we off there? Okay.
Just got you.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay, not seeing any hands raised. Sounds like we may not actually have any questions. If that is the case, we will move straight into voting.
Great.
All right, fantastic. So I will look through names here and call them as I see your name appear. And then of course, at the end, I'll double check with everyone just to make sure I've gotten everyone who's able to vote tonight. All right, Lauren, you're up first.
I approve.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's see here. Who do we have next? Andrew Hall. Andrew, are you with us? Okay, we'll come back to Andrew. Let's see here. Moving on. Mr. Hoyt, I'll just note that I do see that you are a member, but since you just registered today, you do not yet have voting privileges. Just wanted you to know I did not skip you.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you again for being here. Eric,
Approve.
thank you. And is Mark with you?
Nope.
Okay,
Just me.
all righty. Let's see here. Lena,
I approve.
thank you very much.
Thanks.
Liza,
I approve.
thank you, Liza. All right, let's see here. Tony,
Approved, just me.
thanks, Tony. Okay, just checking the names here. I believe that was everyone. Is there anyone that believes I may have missed them? Okay, in that case, pretty quick. We've got 5 votes in support, no opposed, and no abstentions. So all good to go.
Thank you all.
Thanks, John.
Thank you again.
All right, so the second item, as just mentioned, is just for your information and feedback. So we have Jonathan Rewald with us this evening to talk about a currently vacant property, I believe, at 491 Whittier that they are looking to develop, and just wanted to get some feedback from the community. So I'll let Jonathan take it away.
Thanks, Lauren. John Rewald here. I also have my architect, Phil Heron, who will be speaking to some of what we're thinking. We appreciate your all's time this evening. We wanted to, before we got too down the road with our plan for the site, get in front of you. It's a 0.09 acre site at 491 East Whittier. We see this kind of as the southwest entrance to Marion Village and the neighborhood off of Parsons here. The property owner and I have been in discussions with, some yield studies, what makes the most sense here. After a lot of discussion and playing around with it, we have a townhome concept for 2 townhomes that we'd like to get in front of you. There are a few variances that it will require. We can kind of talk through that. The goal today is, again, before we get too far down the path with anything, just get any feedback that you all, may have that can further inform, what we're looking to do and perhaps make it, a better project. So with that, I will turn it over to Phil.
Excuse the labeling. John sent me his link, and so I'm listed as John Rewald on the screen, but my name is Philip Heron. And I don't know if, I'm assuming, John, did you supply a site plan to the?
I will pull it up right now. Let's go right here.
So north is to the right on the screen, so that's Whittier Avenue. And basically it is a duplex concept. It's 2.5 stories. The existing lot is a very tiny lot. Right now it was a used car lot at one time, and so going back to a residential use on this lot seems to make sense. The property directly to the east is a gas station, so it's separated by an alley, and so to reclaim this lot as a residential and incorporate it, and kind of reintegrate it back in the neighborhood seemed like a good idea. But looking at what kind of density we could get on this with the 2 townhomes, and so these are, again, a 2.5 story concept. And right now the elevation is purely a placeholder. It was more of a massing study, but it kind of gives an idea of the an aesthetic of a transitional kind of farmhouse kind of concept. So it's a wood frame building with cementitious siding, and it's within the kind of height restraints of the neighborhood, or we may need to be a little bit taller, but not much. But looking at the scale and proportions and rhythms of the existing housing stock in the neighborhood, and kind of using those as a cue, as the design would be developed, that's what we'd be looking at. And so it's the townhouses are loaded front to back. They both have frontages on Whittier, so they would be the front doors would be facing that street. Both have rear yard spaces for use by the residents, plus front porches, and garage parking off the alley to the south. The garages would be entered from that alley on the south. That existing lot, is 33 feet 4 inches wide, so it's very, very narrow lot. So this is a lot of program on that site, but it is less than 50% coverage. It's only at 44% coverage on that site. So it seems to be a very efficient use of that site, even though there is a number of variances that would be required. So, and we've had some initial discussions with the zoning department, and primarily the variances would be with regards to the front yard setback, due to we have to take into account the gas station, which is a little bit oddball, to require this lot to be kind of subjugated to the setbacks, because that's a standalone kind of building that faces Parsons Avenue. The others would be side yards, and minimum and maximum side yards and overall height. So it seems to be relatively not impactful, these kind of these uses or these variances that would be required. But conceptually, this is what we're thinking, and we'd like to get an idea, from you all, if you think that this would be an acceptable approach and an acceptable use for this lot. That's kind of at the threshold to the neighborhood, as John was saying.
And I would also, thanks. So I'd also add that the property, the parcel adjacent to the west, existing single family home, and I can pull up a street view if that's helpful. That property owner is in support of the project as contemplated in front of you today. And then, to the east, we have the alley and then the gas station. So, as Phil mentioned, there is a bit of program on a smaller parcel. But that said, minimal impact, to immediate neighbors, and is putting an underutilized, vacant, lot back into service, and adding density to the neighborhood. So, with that, we kind of welcome any feedback that you have, and, any questions.
Great, thank you guys. This is super helpful to walk through, and really great to see. Jess, I had planned to handle this the same way we do just regular zoning requests. So I was going to pull up my screen here, and John, you had sent me 2 potential variance requests, but it sounds like you guys might need to add the height variance as well, depending.
Hold on, this was earlier. I have a more formal document if you would like me to pull that up right now, and we can go through each item.
I don't think we need to do it formally. I just kind of wanted to give folks an idea of what the potential variance requests would be, so that they can ask any related questions.
Yes. There is the side yard. The height right now, we're proposed at 38 feet. It's in a 35-foot height district today. So that's something that needs to be considered. And then the dwelling units, it's 2 dwelling units. We're providing 2 parking spaces per the zoning code 4 are required. So a parking variance would be required as well.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, again, if you have any questions or feedback to share, go ahead and raise your hand. Or if having trouble with that, just feel free to jump in and let us know that you'd like to ask or share.
And just a reminder, this is not for a vote. They're just asking for feedback. I think it's great.
I was going to echo that, Lauren. I wish more people, more developers would take this type of approach with some of our, properties within the neighborhood. Fully supportive, love it all. Thanks, guys.
Always happy to see a vacant lot turn into something beneficial. So I don't see any hands raised.
And not
still.
a high rise.
Right, correct, not a high rise. Still don't see any hands raised. I think maybe one thing just before we wrap up is just if someone does want to share a street view, just so folks who might not know exactly where it is can kind of see what the lot looks like. And perfect, thank you so much.
So you've got Parsons Avenue, Whittier, and then this vacant spot here. So street view. Right.
Hey guys, this is Tony Rell. I think this is a great addition to an otherwise vacant property and a great way to get 2 units on 1 parcel. So I'm supportive of that.
Thanks, Tony.
Okay, so we've got this pulled up. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to share? Okay, well, in that case, thank you so much for bringing this to us. We always appreciate when developers come forward and let us know what they might be thinking and kind of ask for that feedback. We really appreciate that and love having that opportunity to have a voice even before the official application process. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. We appreciate the time and look forward to being back in front of the group at some point in the near future. So thank you.
Sounds great. Thanks again.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, everyone. Well, we will move right along here. So let's talk about the 2021 Mva Board Elections. So as you know, we have elections each year. Member at large is up for election every year since that's a 1-year position. And for this cycle, we also have the position of treasurer and secretary. So I would like to introduce our nominees. I will say we were not able to get a volunteer to serve as our nomination committee for this cycle. Camille Gill did help us with the last 2 elections, but she was out of town today. So I'm just going to make those announcements, and then if anyone volunteers before our election in November, we will certainly let them take the baton and announce those nominees again during the election in November. So I will go with our nomination that we currently have. We've only received a nomination for one of the positions, and that is Eric Stegmuller, who has been renominated for treasurer. So Eric, just in case there's anyone here who doesn't know your happy face, if you want to introduce yourself. And
Sure. Eric Stegmuller, I've served now as treasurer for the last 2 election cycles for this role position. Willing to serve 1 more. I do want to go on the record that I probably am not going to be able to get my better half to agree to a 3rd or a 4th. So if there's anybody that's willing to, get interested, and I'm happy to you can shadow, we can work on some over the next 2 years, kind of training, which is not hard, I promise. I mean, it's literally a checkbook. So, but happy to serve again for another 2 years. I'm looking forward to it. And again, if anyone else is interested to take the baton for me after this, I would love to start chatting with you.
thank you so much, Eric. Eric has been an amazing treasurer who keeps our books looking spotless. In fact, I think the audit committee had a pretty easy time this year getting everything checked out because Eric does such a great job. So very happy that he's nominated again and excited to vote for him in November. So our secretary position and our member at large position, we have no nominees currently. We can accept nominations at tonight's meeting, but if we do not receive a nomination tonight, then we will have to kind of go through that process again and announce nominees outside of the normal election process. So I will open the floor in case anyone would like to be nominated for either of those positions. I will say our member at large, Jen, she has a lot of work happening now and a lot of travel, so she did decide not to run again at this time, but she is going to still be involved and active on committees, so we very much appreciate that from her. All right, so is there anyone present tonight that would like to make a nomination for secretary or for member at large?
I would like to nominate Lena for secretary again because she has done an amazing job filling in the last few months since she has joined the board. She's been an amazing addition, a great partner in the neighborhood. She was formerly last year on the audit committee, so I got to know her very well there, and just continue to think that she can continue to add value to the neighborhood. So I would love if Lena would accept the nomination for secretary again for another year.
Oh, thank you, Eric. That was so nice. Yeah, that would be super awesome. I'm definitely happy to take it formally. I know it's been like a 6 months kind of thing since I started getting involved in MVA, and I would love to continue to do so.
Awesome, fantastic. So we have now a nominee for treasurer and a nominee for secretary. Very excited to have both of you potentially back. Now we just have one more nomination open for member at large. If you've thought about joining the board before, but you're not sure, member at large is a perfect intro position. It's only 1 year. And the member at large has a really interesting role because you kind of get to take on your passion project. You know, the treasurer and the secretary, president and vice president have very specific structured roles, but the member at large really gets to tell us what they feel is important to themselves and to the neighborhood, since you are representing the membership as a whole. So I will open the floor one last time. Is there anyone here interested in nominating themselves for member at large?
I do just want to emphasize what Jess was saying. Basically, your role is a voice. Like that's the role. So, and then you're welcome to sign up for more, you know, take on more from there. But we are really looking for someone to represent the neighborhood and bring that voice to the table. So if you're afraid that it's too much, it's 2 hours a month, a board meeting and this association meeting. Hopefully a lot of people can, you know, carve out just that very few, you know, limited amount of time. But the role essentially is just bring your voice to the table and like represent the rest of the neighborhood. So I don't want anybody to get concerned or worried that it's more than what they're willing to handle or more than they can take on. You know, it's really just attend a couple meetings and bring your voice to the table.
Well said. Okay. Well, it doesn't look like we convinced
It didn't
anyone.
work, Jess.
It didn't work tonight, but we'll keep trying. We'll keep trying. And of course, everyone here tonight, if you know someone in the neighborhood that you think would be a great voice for the area, we would really love for you to send them our way. You can always nominate someone through our web form on the website at marionvillage.org. And just speaking for someone that's been on the board for a while, I know, Eric, you'll certainly agree. It's very, very beneficial when we have a full board, because then we make sure that we have lots of different voices and folks, you know, speaking up and making sure that the membership is heard and served well. So we definitely want to make sure that that position gets filled and are eager to see who is interested in filling it in the near future. All right, well, I will move on and I will talk about the membership renewal reminder. So we have entered October, which means you can now sign up for a membership, which will, if you're not a current member, you'll be a member for the rest of this year and all of next year. So great time to sign up if you've been thinking about joining and you haven't yet. And if you're already a member, you can renew anytime. Membership renewal is now open. So if you'd rather do it now and not forget and have to do it at last minute on December 31st, like we have all had to do before, this is a great chance to do it. Just head over to the website and you can take care of your renewal anytime. Okay, I will note quickly, actually, I'll get to that in just a moment. Let's go here to let's talk about the Marion Village Arch. So I'm sure everyone's familiar with the archway we have. It's over Midoff Street, right at the corner of Midoff and South High. So a neighbor came forward a couple of years ago and asked us to look into getting that archway repainted and freshened. It's obviously faded over the years. So we did start that process just before the pandemic, and we reached out to various, qualified individuals who could help with that, got some quotes, did select someone. And of course, right after selection, COVID hit, and there was no way to get street closure permits, and the project couldn't be completed. Once those things were relaxed, we did reach back out, and the person who had been selected was no longer interested. So we have put out a call to find someone interested to help with that project again. There is a gentleman here who works for a company called SprayNet. He lives here in Marion Village, and he is more than willing to help us with the arch portion. In fact, he's not even going to charge us labor. This would just be a cost situation with the paint. However, the logo portion of the sign is kind of a separate animal. It will require some detailed hand painting. So our current approach is that we're going to look at removing the logo portion from the sign, having that painted separately and reattached, and while it's off, having the arch actually sprayed with a nice durable outdoor paint. So that project is underway. A couple of things: if you or someone you know might be interested in helping us with the hand painting portion of the logo, it is a metal sign. So if you've got experience painting metal for outdoor use, it would need to be pretty durable. We'd love to talk to you. Really excited to potentially get that project completed and have a nice fresh archway to welcome people to Marion Village. So just wanted to give everyone an update about that. Another item we have, I will actually share a link here. We have active right now a local South Side business survey. So as we look forward to relaunching our business memberships for the 2022 year, after being on hiatus this past year because of COVID, we want feedback from the local businesses in our neighborhood to see what they actually want, what helps their business succeed, what helps with their visibility, what would make a business membership with the association more interesting to them, and what might that look like. So we're currently taking information through the survey. It can be filled out in just about 5 minutes, so it doesn't need to be a lengthy process, but we are asking any business located on the south side of Columbus to fill that out, whether or not you've been a member before, or even if you didn't know the association existed. We would love to hear from you. So asking folks to share that far and wide. We haven't set a firm deadline. We'd like to get responses as quickly as possible, certainly by the end of this month, but as it is right now, we've only received a few and certainly would like additional feedback so we can get a nice variety. So please recommend that to folks. I did just share the link in chat, and we look forward to getting some additional responses. Okay, another recap I'd like to share. If you attended last month's meeting, you know that there was a conversation happening between Schumacher Place, German Village, and Marion Village with respect to drafting a good neighbor agreement between our neighborhoods and the Pizzuti Company for the development that they're building on the old Giant Eagle site. That meeting was scheduled to take place a day or so after the last meeting and was canceled at the last minute due to the pending legislation that's occurring. Marion Village is not involved in that legislation, so we won't speak on that specifically, but I will say that there are no meetings currently scheduled for a good neighbor agreement. Should that change, we will certainly be participating in those and always welcome feedback from folks with things you might like to see inside the agreement. Some things that were mentioned last time was making sure that there's a plan in place to deal with moving trucks or delivery trucks so that traffic isn't blocked, and also maintenance of things like bike racks and other amenities that are being provided outside of the property. So if you have anything to share, you can always just email mva@marionvillage.org, and that will get added to the conversation. Okay. I'm going to move on to the 2021 Marion Village Summer Fun Days recap. We just had our grand finale this past Saturday with the yard sale, the final Fitness in the Park event, and of course, food trucks in the park as well. So wonderful experience. I think, is Tony still here? Oh, Tony is no longer with us. I was going to talk him into giving the update, but instead I'll just kind of give one myself, and then anyone else who's here and wants to share can. We started Summer Fun Days at the beginning of July with the garden tour. We offered Saturday morning Fitness in the Park, which was yoga or HIIT typically, at Moeller Park each Saturday, which was fantastic. Folks really enjoyed it. We had a few different food truck outings. on the third Thursdays of the month. And then, of course, we just had the yard sale, food truck, and fitness in the park kind of extravaganza this past Saturday. Another kind of ongoing piece of Summer Fun Days was our 2021 special t-shirt logo design. You'll see that I am currently wearing that. This is probably my new favorite shirt. If you're interested in getting a shirt with this logo, please do order it soon. They will only be available at the latest through the end of this month, and then they will go away forever. So if you'd like to grab this awesome logo, which was the winner out of 13 submissions, please do that as soon as possible. Definitely helps to support the association, and it looks great. So win-win for everyone. One other project from Summer Fun Days that will continue to go on is our community mural project. So we did have several artists apply for that, I believe 12 in total. We do believe we have an artist selected and a location. We'll be announcing that officially soon. But until then, we are raising funds through Facebook fundraiser, which again, I'll share here in the chat. So if you'd like to help contribute to that project, a mural, of course, can be rather expensive. But we will be sharing additional details that specifically talk about the location of the mural, who the artist is, with some examples of their previous works and some information on what that mural might contain. We had originally planned to have that painted this fall, but we found that that would have really been rushing the process and certainly wouldn't have served the project well. So it is likely that that project will take place early in 2022, and we're just looking forward to it. So hope everyone will participate and is excited. Let's see here. All right, committee updates. Beautification, I will just share that Christian, who had previously been chairing our beautification committee, is a bit too busy and does need to step away as the chair, so he will still try to participate in the committee as a member, but he's unable to chair that effort himself. So if you've previously said you were interested in participating in beautification, we'll be sending out an email soon asking those folks to gather and possibly start meeting again and electing a new chair. So very excited to see where that can go. Hopefully the committee can get started so that they've got projects in mind ready to go when the new year starts. Membership also, we'll have some news to share on that, some potential membership ideas, drives, things to promote membership. So Lena's been working on that, and we'll have some information to share with everyone soon. Nothing new on social. I will double check with Mike to ensure or verify whether or not there will be a third Thursday happy hour in the park this month. I believe there will, but I'll verify that with him. And of course, once we confirm it, we will post that on social media as well. It's typically just a bring your own picnic, blanket, and play some yard games in Muller Park with your neighbors. So sounds like a great time, and hopefully that'll be happening. All right, we've already covered zoning. Lauren, just to check, was there anything else you wanted to share for zoning?
Nope, nothing else.
Okay, perfect. All right, I don't believe we have any commissioners here this evening, so I will skip over the Southside Area Commission updates. Same with the Connect to Protect Blockwatch. I see Vicky isn't here. Is there anyone else here that's possibly a Blockwatch member that has an update they'd like to share? Okay, didn't think so, but wanted to check. Otherwise, the Southside Area Commission has their next meeting on Tuesday, October 26th at the Parsons Library. They have moved back into in-person meetings, so if you'd like to attend one of those, you can visit them there at the Parsons Library at 6:30 p.m. Our next meeting is, of course, Wednesday, November 3rd at 7 p.m. That will be held virtually, and that will also be the evening that we officially vote for our nominees in this election cycle. Hope you can join us. That will actually be our last meeting of the year as well. We do typically do a potluck in December, very unlikely this year due to ongoing COVID concerns. Whether or not we decide to do anything special for the end of the year, we'll certainly communicate with folks, but as of now, there are no plans to host a meeting that month. So our meeting next month will be the last for the year. And with that, I will move on. Open floor. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share? Questions, comments, interesting things happening in the neighborhood?
I had a couple of questions. The first one is about the, does the association have any contacts with the church across from Muller Park?
The St. Leo?
Yes.
So there is a caretaker that has been designated by the diocese for that church. I don't know if he's still the caretaker. He was several years ago. I can look to see whether or not he is and see if we can reach out. Is there a specific issue?
They have, I think, a private trash pickup service that comes at 3:30 in the morning every Wednesday, and it's very disturbing for the residents that live nearby.
Oh gosh, it's a weird time for trash pickup.
Yeah, and they've had it for years, and it's kind of off and on. It's not every single week, so I don't really know how it works, but it's always on Wednesdays at 3:30 in the morning. And it's terrible.
Oh gosh, okay. Well, I will look into that. I'll see if we can contact anyone. Hopefully there's someone that will chat with us, and maybe we can see if they can do anything about that. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah, thanks. And then the other thing I wanted to ask, I think it may have been Tony at some point talked about an effort to get more trees planted in the neighborhood. I was curious if there's been anything more happening with that.
I know I did hear Tony talk about that, but it wasn't. We did try a grant a couple of years ago that unfortunately was not approved for that process. So at least as far as I'm aware, Eric, jump in here if you can think of something different. I don't believe there's been anything further on that. We hoped beautification committee might kind of tackle that, but that has not happened yet either.
Yeah, I agree. He did mention it a while back. I feel like for some reason there was a reason why he did not move forward. We did not move forward with whatever that proposal was a couple of years ago. But as someone who just moved onto a non-tree lined block of a street, I would very much like to pick that up again personally. So Warren, happy to kind of sync up, and if we can, and talk Tony back into looking into that again, or if we have a new,
make somebody else do it.
Yeah, a new chair of the beautification committee that would like to work with the city. There's definitely, I think, some pockets within the neighborhood that could use and benefit from additional tree planting for sure. I know I put in a 311 request when we moved in 4 months ago, and all I got was an email saying it was routed to the appropriate department. That was it. So if there's somebody that can help us, I don't know if that's Nancy or who, but maybe we can find someone from the neighborhood willing to spearhead the effort, and then, neighbors that are willing to nominate their blocks for more trees, or something. I don't know. So definitely think there's opportunity here.
Nancy was my thought as well. I'll reach out to her just in general. We always try to check in just to see if there's anything that needs. I'll ask her whether or not she's aware of any programs that are active for, requesting those street trees other than 311. And also maybe there's even a contact we can talk to, because, just a 311 request, it does get routed to the correct department, but who knows what that means. So I'll see if she has anything to share, and I'll try to have an update for next month. But yes, assuming we can get someone on board to chair that beautification committee, we will certainly include that in the list of kind of hopes and dreams of things that committee might pursue.
And Jess, I feel like I remember too, there might have been something with the county. So not just, I know Nancy's mostly city, but I feel like too, maybe it was Tony or someone had mentioned grants or a program with the county as well. So that might be something we want to look into.
Okay, sounds good. I'll double check with Tony as well, and we'll gather all this, and then hopefully we'll get a committee going that'll be really excited about street trees and will help us get some nice new trees in the neighborhood. Okay, I guess I don't realize how lucky I am with all the trees we have on Moeller, so I'm feeling a little spoiled right now. All right, anyone else have anything they'd like to share before we adjourn? David, I see your hand.
Hi there. I just thought I'd say hi. I moved here in July and wanted to just see what y'all do and learn some more. So
awesome. Well, welcome home. Hi. We're so happy to have you and thrilled that you joined us tonight.
Yeah,
what brought you to Marion Village?
Well, I used to live in Mount Vernon. If you know where that is, it's out in Knox County. And when I moved to Columbus, this has always been my favorite part of town. So that's what led me here. but I'm right next to Bake Me Happy, so.
Oh,
if you
dangerous.
go
I was about
down
to
for
ask
some-
David, what street do you live on?
South Fourth, literally, Bake Me Happy is 10 feet that direction, so.
Oh,
Oh,
David, I
okay.
think I saw your note. You found out about the association because you saw our info center across the street from you, right?
That's the other thing, yeah, I live across from
Awesome.
the info center, so that helped.
Very cool. Well, we're so glad you were here. Hopefully,
So you're
we'll
like
get
3
you more
doors
involved.
down from Freebus and Fourth. Like, is that where?
Yes, I live next to Jay, if you know Jay, and across from the pretty blue house, and I don't know who lives there.
Yeah. Okay. I know exactly. I used to live on Freebus, so I know exactly where you live.
Oh, cool.
Eric has lived in
So
like 3
welcome.
different Marion Village houses in the last 5 years, so he just likes to try all the streets out, just sample them.
I tell my realtor, I'm like, keep me in Merion Village. That's my only requirement. So
We have that
but
requirement
welcome
as
to the
well.
neighborhood. Welcome to the neighborhood, David.
Thank
Great
you
to
very
have
much. Yep.
Yes, thank you so much. That's fantastic. Hope to see you at more meetings, and we'll rope you into some committees at some point, I'm sure. So.
Yeah. Would you like to run for member at large?
He's trying.
Yeah, I'll table that for now.
So just as a point of reference, our last member at large, Jen, she had just moved into the neighborhood 3 months before. She ran last year. So I'm just saying, there's
trying.
precedent. There's precedent here.
Okay, well, I will take it under advisement if anyone wants to email me.
Awesome.
Excellent. Send us your email address and I'll email you.
Thank you so much. And Brad, I see your hand raised as well.
Hi, it's actually Margaret. I'm Brad's wife.
Hello.
For sure. We also moved in July, so I wanted to jump on. I'm sorry, I look a little crazy right now, but it's okay.
You are just fine. Well, welcome home to you as well. So excited.
Yes,
So
thank
what brought
you.
you folks here?
Yeah, so we wanted to just join in and hear what was going on. So
And were you local or did you move from further away?
we had been renting in German Village for the year because we
Okay.
moved in 2020. So obviously we're not being very intentional about where we live, but we fell in love with Schiller Park during the pandemic, and so we wanted to stay close. But yeah.
We
So
are
that's-
so happy to have you.
Thank you.
And is it Mary or
Margaret.
Margaret, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Margaret, what street or block do you give us a
We're at
reference
Gates in City Park.
Oh,
nice.
excellent. Yes. Excellent.
That's a
We walk
great
by your
area.
house all the time. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we're really happy. We're quite thrilled with the whole thing. So
Welcome.
Wonderful.
And would you be interested in member at large position?
I actually was thinking, I was a little, but I'm super, I'm always saying yes to everything. So I was like, oh, maybe I will, maybe I won't.
Excellent.
But-
Send me your email as well, and I will reach out.
okay, I will do that. Beautification was more, I like to walk around with a trash grabber. So I've already-
Beautification definitely needs some help. So
You need to meet. Oh my gosh! Moss.
the group is Marion Green.
Marion Green, but what's Randy Moss? Is that his? I forgot his name.
Drew.
Now, but anyways, we have a group that literally does trash collection on a
Wait,
monthly
really?
basis.
Mhm.
It's
Oh my
insane. They've collected. We should actually probably have him come and give an update, Jess, sometime.
I agree.
They've collected like I forgot how many gallons of trash, and then how much of it's been recyclable.
Yes,
It's been
then they separate it.
80%. They
Well,
separate
I've
it
already doing that
out
on
in
an
the
ad
park.
hoc basis, so that sounds great. Yeah.
Very
definitely.
cool.
Awesome.
I'll make a note here that we want to have Drew come. I think it's Drew Moss, right, Eric?
Yeah, Drew.
All right,
Yes, thank you,
okay.
Andrew. Yeah, Drew Moss. Yeah.
I will.
So I just
I'll
want
ask him to come talk.
Yeah, is that good, or should I send something separate?
Oh, one more
Sarah.
time. Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Oh, I just said if I put my email in the chat, is that okay, or should I send it somewhere else? Separate?
Yes, that's perfect. That's perfect. We will.
Okay.
We will grab you there.
Perfect.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. I love seeing all these new faces, and thank you for introducing yourselves as well. We really appreciate that. I mean, it's fantastic to meet folks even if we're not in person. So we really appreciate you being here.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, floor is still open. Anyone else have anything to share? Oh, Liza.
All right. Hi. Sorry, don't mind the dog. She just jumped in my lap. Yeah, I just wanted to say hi and figured I'd continue on the train of the July people who moved in. So my husband and daughter and I moved on Hanford Street in July, early July.
Oh my gosh.
And so-
Welcome home.
Thank you. Thank you. We're most recently we moved from California, but I'm
wow.
originally from Delaware, Ohio. And grew up there,
Wow.
went through college there. So moving back home to be with family.
So great. Well, we are so happy to have you here. This is fantastic.
Thank
I
you.
love seeing all these new faces.
Yeah.
And I know how David found us. How did you hear about us?
Facebook. Actually, I searched
Awesome.
before as soon as we got the house figured out, I looked on Facebook and found the Village Association website and their Facebook page, and then went from there.
That's fantastic. And Margaret, I totally forgot to ask you, but I always love hearing how folks hear about us, especially in these times, where we're not necessarily out having our big events. None of you have actually seen this yet, but we typically have a huge event in Muller Park in September where we have food trucks and beer and wine and 80 vendors. So looking forward to hopefully having that happen next year, and you'll all be here for it. In fact, Liza, you'll be very close right there on Hanford. It'll just be, and you know what, even you too, Margaret, because you guys are in Gates. Super quick walk. Oh, wonderful. I love this so much. Okay.
So, Liza, the most important question though is, what is your dog's name?
That one was Cleo. We have 2 Chihuahua mixes. And Rumble, come here, bud. Let me see if I can get the other one over here to say hello. Come on, come say hi.
Eric's such a sucker for dogs.
Rumble.
Oh, I am, and little dogs at that too, because I have mini Aussies.
Yeah.
Okay, now my second important question is, do you play the organ?
I do. Actually, I'm a church organist. I work at Renewal Lutheran Church.
Oh, so neat.
Oh my gosh.
In Marion Village. So,
Oh,
so
so
cool.
I've been wanting to do like a sing-along organ Christmas song concert sometime for the neighborhood. So we have got to connect and figure out how to make that happen.
I have an organ in my house now.
Yeah,
awesome.
We'll
5
open up your
people to get
big
in the
window
front door.
there, and everyone can just like bring their lawn chairs and sit on your front porch.
There we go.
All right, awesome.
Awesome. So cool. Thank you guys all so much for speaking up and saying hello. We really appreciate that. I can't say it enough, but new faces are great, and we love hearing your stories and hearing how you found us. So we hope to see you all again next month as well. I'll just double check. Anybody else, anything to share before I adjourn? Okay. I think that's it. So we'll see everyone next month. Stay safe. Make sure you're following us on Facebook and Instagram. That's where we share everything. And we're so excited to see you all tonight and can't wait to see you again. So everybody, thank you again.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Good night.
Thanks,
Good night.
everyone. Bye.